Hey folks, this is Gray here, and today we're looking at the Yoshopo Y3000. This is the largest unit that I've reviewed so far in portable power stations. 3,000 watts continuous and a 6,000 watt peak. Very impressive. Another thing about this portable power station, it stands apart from the rest as it has multiple swappable batteries. So in this video, we're going to do like we normally do. First, we'll look at the specifications of the unit. Then we'll get a close-up look at the unit itself. And this one's going to be a little bit more in depth in the aspect that it comes with a, like a rolling carriage or whatnot, so that you can stack this and roll this around if you have to roll it outside, if you have to roll it down a hallway, move it from room to room. They make it easy because I remember someone in a previous video that I did, it'd be nice if they had one of these units on a moving rack so that you can, instead of having to pick these and lug these things around, you can actually roll them around. After we take a close-up look at it, we're going to do some testing in regards to, can the unit perform well? We'll do the hot plate test as well as the heater test. I feel like those tests in general, encompass most things, because if it could handle those high drain devices or those appliances, it should be able to handle things like your refrigerator, your deep freezers, and things of that nature. If you kind of get where I'm going down that road, your more major appliances that you would need something like this for. Because something like this, at this kind of power that this thing can provide, will actually power anything like your lights and fans and all your small electronics quite easily. And then after that, we'll wrap it up with me. We'll come back and look at the pros and cons of this unit, my final thoughts, and my questions to you, my viewers. All right, so let's kind of take a look at the specifications of the Yoshopo 3,000 watt portable power station. All right, like I said, this is 3,000 watts, continuous with a 6,000 watt peak. And then from there, it's 2,355 watt hour capacity. That is the battery itself, as this unit separates the inverter from the battery, which is quite interesting. And then, of course, the more batteries you buy, the more continuous power you can use. So let's say if you have the unit itself and you use that 2,355 watts, then you bring in another battery and you plug it right back in. So if you have 4 batteries, then you can times 4 times 2,355 times that by 4, because then you can kind of swap in and out. Now, some people say, well, Gray, some of the other units will do this and this and that. But yeah, I think this is cool, because as time progresses and you have the money to buy additional batteries, let's say you have 4 batteries on standby that are fully charged, in a storm situation, you use the unit. Once the battery drains fully, then you could swap to the next unit, and therefore you kind of get where I'm going with that, right? Another impressive feat of this, it has 6,000 cycles. A lot of times we talk about 3,000 cycles, 3,500 cycles. This thing has 6,000 cycles, folks. Man, it's quite impressive. So when I say 6,000 cycles, usually you say 10 years. This one is pushing 15 years. It is powered by a CATL battery, which is lithium iron phosphate. And what CATL is a specific company that usually makes batteries for stuff like Tesla. They're vehicle batteries. So these batteries are made for high drain, you know what I mean, and a lot of recharging. And I'll explain a little bit about CATL here in a second. This also has fast charging, about on average 1.3 hours fast charging. And of course, it has a BMS, which is your battery management system, that makes sure everything is running smoothly. Again, like I said, it's a lithium iron phosphate battery, and I have my notes here in regards to CATL, which is, like I said, a vehicle battery manufacturer, and it has become one of Tesla's main battery manufacturers in recent years. They specialize in manufacturing of lithium iron batteries for electric vehicles. I just kind of wanted to throw it out there because that's why I think it has more cycles. That's why I think it's more of an advanced battery than some of your standard other lithium iron phosphate batteries. But it's quite interesting. So how do you charge this unit? A lot of people are going to ask that question. In regards to that, you can do AC, if I can spit it out right, AC charging, with the max, you can actually charge this thing up to 2,200 watts, right? But on average, from what I got, charging it via wall outlet is 1,500 to 1,800 watts, which is not too bad at all. A lot of people like that fast charging because the last thing you want to do is wait 6 to 8 hours to charge your unit when you need this thing now. You can also charge this via solar. Now with the solar option, that's when you're going to get more power to it. So let's say if you have it plugged into the Jenny, or you have it plugged into the wall and you run a solar cord to this, then you're going to get more of that max charging, where you can reach that max at 2,200 watts. You can also charge it via your car. So those are some of the options that you have. Solar charging usually max out about 360 watts for you folks that may ask that. Now, I'm going to break down the unit because the inverter weighs and then the battery has a weight of its own too. So the inverter itself weighs 19 pounds, which is lightweight. So if you had to carry the inverter, let's say you had the battery, which weighs in at 45 pounds, which is about normal for anything that's over 2,000 watts. This is 3,000 watts. So that being said, let's say you have 3 or 4 spare batteries and you have one in the room, one by the fridge, one by your freezer, or wherever you may have this unit at. You can take that unit off and take it to the battery if you had to, or if you had to use the roll around cart that's with this unit, or not with it, but it's as an add-on. I think it's like only like 45 bucks, which is not too bad. That you can just kind of swap that battery, lift up that unit, and drop the battery in. It's kind of like if you had a flashlight and you're just kind of swapping batteries as you burn through your batteries. Same premise, you know what I mean? So other than that, this thing also has a warranty between 2 to 5 years. And usually when they say 2 to 5 years, it means if you register the product and you click on a bunch of stuff, give them your email and stuff like that, you can extend your warranty. I think the minimum is 2 years, max is 5 years. We're going to go to the bench and take a close-up look at the inverter itself. And one thing I really liked about this is the huge screen on it. I swear it's like, I don't know, 3 by 5 or 4. I don't know. It's a huge screen. Very awesome. I like it when you can easily see, especially when you get old people, when we got to wear glasses sometimes. Anyways, let's get back to the bench, folks. What we're going to do first is kind of take a look at the inverter and a couple of the outlets that it has on here. Like I said, it's very simplistic, but again, this screen is huge. So to turn this thing on, you're just going to take this button here, turn that bad boy on. It's going to recognize the battery that's connected to it at 83%. And that says time remaining, which I do like. I like anything that tells me how much time I have remaining on the battery at sitting in this, just sitting here doing nothing, just powering the inverter. Now this can be a little bit deceptive because it's actually a lot longer because it's not pushing anything. We have our input watts and our output watts here. Let's move on to the USB-A's. You got 1 and 2, and you have 1 USB Type-C output. I don't like the fact that it doesn't tell me the wattage on there, but again, this unit is just coming to market, so there's going to be a lot of things happening probably with this company in the near future. You also have your 12-volt cigarette or car adapter right there, and that's going to be for your DC input. Now here, this is how you would charge your car, or your car adapter and your solar adapter. My apologies. So this would, you input your solar. This is what you would input for the car. Now with these AC outlets, as you can see here, you got 2 of those. And it's kind of interesting because if I put, it's hard to see on here. Maybe I'll zoom up. What I wanted to zoom up is to kind of show you that these, it's like a little rubber gap in there. I don't know if you can see that. So when you plug it in, they're kind of sealed unless you plug something in there. So it's like a little kind of like a membrane right there, so that when you plug it in, it protects it from anything getting inside there. Again, like I said, I really like this large screen. Has lots of information, easy to read. This thing is pretty big, and that's why I don't have it on my my normal desk or whatnot. But that's the basic of the inverter. And like I said, the inverter just kind of pops off the battery that it's sitting on down here. So let's take a look at the back of the unit. Back of the unit here is where you would plug in your AC cord, which I like. It does not have a brick. It's a straight AC cord, which is very commonplace with most of your power cords in regards to other stations and whatnot. No brick involved, just a straight power cord. And then you have this cord, which connects all the way down here to the spare battery. So you can see that green line right there. This part's the inverter, and then down here is the battery. The battery is the larger part of the unit, and it connects with this plug. They can only go in one way, so you can't mess that up. And it sits pretty flush with the unit, but what they did on top of here is they added this Velcro in case you were worried about that wire going anywhere, and you can wrap this around the main bar of this unit. So you can see there, let me back up a bit, as you can see how it's sitting there all together. This is a very robust and beefy cable, so I do like that as well. Usually that lets power flow more efficiently from the battery to the inverter, but all in all, pretty solid. You have your fans right here. You have basically a exhaust fan and then a fan on the other side that's going to use to be able to cool the unit right there. Now I did want to show you guys something in regards to accessorizing your portable power stations. Now this has nothing to do with the video, but I remember I was watching Rudy's live stream, and he was talking about some people ask, well, how do how do you have hook up certain solar panels? Can a Jackery solar panel or EcoFlow or Blue Yeti solar panel, can they hook up to different devices? So if you have the right adapter, yes, they can. And I'm going to show you that now. Something that I bought off Amazon quite some time ago. And it just makes my life easier when I'm trying to use other companies' solar panels to charge my unit. Now, these are standard connectors for your solar panels, which you're probably familiar with if you own a pair. These are your standard connections for solar panels. Now, the problem usually is some of them, they'll use Anderson connectors and XTC connectors and barrel connectors. Well, here's what I like about this. So here's your solar panel connection here that you would connect to your solar panels. Now this has all these different connections here so that you can connect that to any solar panel that you'd like. I'll link this down below in case someone is looking for a simple option. I think this ran me about 25 bucks, but it has all these different options here so that if whatever solar panel that I'm connecting, I can use that to power whatever portable power station that I have. Now, in addition to this, if you also have this here, it's going to save you a lot of headaches. Because let's say everything on here, for some reason you just get an oddball unit that doesn't work well, you can find something like this, take this off here, and you can attach it to one of these units. So between these two extra additional tools, which are, like I said, you can get these pretty cheap. And like I said, I'll try to link anything down below. But between these two units here, you can attach pretty much any solar panel to any portable power station that you have from any manufacturer. All right, folks, so let's get on to the testing. So what I decided to do is bypass the AC test and use the hot plate and the heater, as you can see there. The reason being is that this only has two outlets or two inputs to power things, I figured I would just push the unit as hard as I could with the hot plate and the heater. So we're going to go ahead and put this camera right here so that you guys can see a nice view of the screen. And what I'm going to do first is I'm going to turn on the hot plate one side at a time. This is a 3,000 watt portable power station, and it has a 6,000 watt peak. So that being said, this should be able to handle both of these units technically close to running at the same time, because this will peak out about 3,000. I think we should get somewhere around there. Anyways, let's go ahead and turn on the hot plate. That's one side on high. We should start seeing it jump right there, which is what to be expected. Looks like we're going to level off around 620, 630 as it heats up. We're going to go ahead and turn the other side on as well to high. Should see a jump in the wattage. We're up to 16. No problems whatsoever. You don't hear any fans. The unit is running very quietly. As you can see there, I kind of paused so you guys can see that. And we're at 1600 watts. That gives us the time remaining at 83%. So I have an hour and 10 minutes to cook myself a nice meal. Hey, eggs and bacon, something in the morning, boil some water, whatever it may be that I'm going to be doing with these hot plates. Now I'm going to leave the hot plates on, and then I'm going to turn on the heater next, and we'll see where it goes. And we're going to look for an error code or any of that stuff like that that may pop up on the screen. So here comes the heater, and I'm reluctant to do this because it's literally 100 degrees inside my little office here. All right, here goes nothing. We're going to turn on the fan first. Looks like it picks up a little bit. Not by much. We're going to go ahead and turn the heater on low. And I'm going to max out the temperature on the heater. So that's low. You see a jump right there. There we go. We can hear the fan on this thing kick in now. And I'm not going to do a decibel test on this one because the fan is very negligible. But if you want to see a decibel test on each power station, please let me know. I can add that into each individual review that I do. But we're at 2,500 watts. We have the hot plates on high, both sides of the hot plate, and we have the heater on low, max temp. So the next thing is to push this unit to try to get it to fault to see if it's going to fault on us or not. It's at 2,500, so let's kick this heater onto high, and the temperature is already maxed out as hot as this heater will go. Let's see what happens. All right, you should see a huge uptick. The heater is now on high. We are above 3,000. We're at 3247. This unit is rated at 3,000 watts continuous. 3,000 watts continuous. Just to say that with a peak of 6,000. I'm waiting to see if this thing fails. Kind of just watching it for now. And let's see how long we can hang above what the unit is rated for. So remember, I'm running 2 hot plates on high. Both sides on high, as hot as they go. And I have the heater maxed out on high with the max temperature. This thing is rated at 3,000 watts, and I'm waiting to see something, but it seems to be efficiently running what I got going on without any error codes whatsoever. I'm going to let this run for a couple of minutes and see what happens. If nothing happens, I'll shut everything down. That means that this is truly capable of going beyond what it's rated at, which is awesome. All right, folks, I sped up a little bit because I didn't want to, waste too much of your time. But it's been several minutes. There's no issues. The unit's still running. Running both of these high drain units at 3,000 watts, over 3,000 watts, I can still get a half hour at everything that is being pulled out at this unit's maximum right now, folks. That's pretty impressive to say the least. Pretty impressive. I like when I see units that can handle the power that they're rated at, because when you buy something, you expect to get what the specifications are. And whenever you get over that, it's a win-win for the consumer. All right, I think we're going to end the testing here, and we'll come back to me for some questions and some pros and cons. All right, so that kind of gives an idea of how the Yoshopo 3000 works. You got to see what it looks like. You got to see some of the testing. The testing went relatively smoothly. I didn't see any hiccups. It handled the power drains good. It handled the surges good. I didn't see much of anything. So far, I'm really impressed with the unit. The only thing I could say is down the road, in regards to the unit itself, it's not even the unit, it's the cart, is I would beef up the wheels a little bit. So, because I noticed when I took it outside, and I didn't video this, I wish I would have, depending on how the gravel and how deep your grass is, it can be a little bit more, because all that weight on there, it can kind of, be a little bit of a pain sometimes. But on concrete in your house and carpet and stuff like that, you're not going to have any issues. But again, I like to nitpick sometimes just so that you guys can be aware of some of my specifics that I didn't like about something. Now, the only thing that really bothered me is it's very limited on the amount of inputs that it has. And what I mean by that is, as you saw, it only had the 2 AC inputs and some electronic inputs versus the USB-As and whatnot. As well as the car adapters and those type of inputs. I felt that we could add possibly more, inputs. Maybe at least 4 AC inputs. You know what I mean? So you can run multiple units or multiple appliances or whatnot on there. But hey, I get it. They're built this unit to kind of go with a situation where you just want to hook it up to your fridge or your freezer and have it so that if the power goes out, the unit kicks on. And then kind of, maintains your refrigerator, your freezer, so that your food doesn't spoil. And if you're running lights on something like this, lights are going to last you days and days and days. You know what I mean? Just running some basic lights or a small fan or something like that has very minimal to low draw. So a unit like this, 3,000 watts, that's very impressive. In regards to the price, so I think, and I'll put the link down below. I don't have any affiliate codes or nothing like that. This was kind of, this is something new that came to the market just recently within the last year. They've been kind of sending it out to content creators like myself to give us, to give you folks an idea of the unit itself and kind of bring it to light, bring it to market per se. And so with the unit and the battery, the price that I found lowest, which is I'll link down below, is about a little over $1,650 to $1,675. That's with the inverter and the battery. Now, if you want additional batteries, from what I saw there, the additional batteries are about $1,300. Other than that, folks, what did you guys think? Did you guys like that it came with the cart, that you can actually move this thing around? So instead of trying to lug around a 50-pound unit to 60-pound unit, just carrying it around, some people can't. They just don't have the upper body strength, and it just gets very cumbersome. So to me, that's a pro, that you can get a little $45 cart that this thing sits on and it stacks on. It's very neat and very easy to hook up. So I thought that was great, very simple to use. The screen itself was huge and very easy to read. So when I looked at that, I was like, man, that's great. I like things that are big and visible. Now, what I did notice is kind of testing it, over the last month or so, I've noticed that there is a draw with that big screen. So it's minimal, of course, with the unit. The unit, of course, needs power to run itself, and there's a little bit of degradation of power coming from the battery into the inverter itself, but it's not something that's going to be extremely noticeable. So I'm really curious your thoughts and what you thought about the Yoshopo 3000 watt. Yes, I know a lot of folks would say, man, great, I would love to have that unit. I just can't afford it right now. But the thing is I understand that, but if you can afford something like this, would you purchase this option? Because there's so many options in the portable power station space, and it's hard to make this decision. So hopefully by doing a lot of these reviews on all these different portable power stations, especially as the technology continues to just gets better and better and better, the prices are going to fluctuate, and the more competition in the market usually benefits us, the consumer. So look forward to reading your comments as always. Other than that, folks, if you have any questions at all, please feel free to put them down in the comments. I try to answer every comment as best as I can. If you got any value out of this video, hit that thumbs up button. It's truly appreciated. And if you're new here, subscribe and please check out the rest of the channel. Other than that, folks, remember, you are not alone. This is GreyMan. I'm out. I'll see you guys in a rebound, and God bless. And thank you for watching.